Welcome to this, the Fall 2023 London Techstars Accelerator Demo Day. I'm Lars Perkins. I am the interim managing director of the program, meaning I'm here just to run one program, unfortunately, only one, and this is it. And I loved your city, so I wouldn't mind running more, but I only have one. So I'll give you the ChatGPT version of the schedule. We're here. I'm talking, it's schedule, I guess, or schedule, depending on what shul you went to. So I'm here, I'm talking to you, then the companies are going to talk to you, and then we're going to go drink. So that's the schedule. Now you may wonder how an American came here to run this program. Please, when we get started, just take care of some safety issues. This is not to scale. Please do not use it for navigation. I was sitting at home on August 30th, 2023, when the phone rang. I was interrupted by a target shooting with my AK-47 and, printing of my fake ballots and trying to, write my pardon letter to Trump in crayon. And just trying to do the normal things that a patriotic American does on a weekday. When the call came in from someone who was in this room, Charlotte, where are you? There she is, back row, as far away as she can get from the shrapnel. Asking me on my penultimate day at Techstars, because I didn't have a program anymore, so I was leaving. My next day would have been my last. But on my penultimate day, a word that I love, by the way, I was asked to come and run the Techstars program here in London for 3 months. So I said, well, I'm basically unemployed anyway, so why not? So I'm here, and I have been for 3 months, and I arrived at your city, but let me tell you a couple things. I arrived in the early part of September. It was 70 to 80 degrees every day and sunny. What happened to people? I feel like it was a bait and switch. I was sold a bill of goods. But I did have a few observations about your fair city. George Bernard Shaw said two countries divided by a common language, but actually walking home from the Strand to the place where I was living in Bloomsbury, the flat where I was living in Bloomsbury. Oh, by the way, that reminds me, I've learned all sorts of new words, like this is a jumper. It's not a sweater. And it's a jumper with a hole that was eaten by a British moth. And I tried to use a magic marker to color black underneath it. It didn't work, so I'm very self-conscious about it. I hope you don't notice it. Anyway, walking home from the Strand to Bloomsbury, where I was living, it seems like a language divided by sort of like two countries divided by more like 7 languages. It's very, very international. It's a super surprise to me at how many languages I heard along the street. But needless to say, American coming to UK, there was a lot of time spent, getting words like you, or getting letters like you out of color and mentor. That's an important one in the program. And, putting the C back in curb, and just little things that just don't quite jive with the way that I think the world should work. But nonetheless, we made it work. And I recall that during my childhood, or my formative years, I should say, I learned a lot of Monty Python, so I thought I'd be well equipped to come to your country. And I pulled out a sentence that I learned quite well back then, and it's, yes, well, that's the sort of blinking Philistine pig ignorance I've come to expect from you non-creative garbage. But this didn't turn out to be particularly useful with my mentorship of these companies, so I kind of had to abandon it pretty early on. I've noticed a few things. You have a lot of electric cars, lots and lots of electric cars, much more than I'm used to seeing. And you've learned, okay guys, you learned to drive them on the wrong side of the street, which is that, say, we would drive on the right side and you drive on the wrong or the left side. This in itself wasn't that disturbing because I have been to Bermuda and Portugal and Japan and France. No, that was a drunken mistake, sorry. So it wasn't too unusual, but what do you people do on the sidewalk? Like, there is just, it's complete chaos. Like in New York, you pass on the right, you walk on the right. Like, there's this unspoken agreement. Here, there is nothing, no order amidst this chaos. It's completely stochastic. You have to pick somebody with some momentum and just try to slide into the slipstream, or like learn to march like with your eyes rigidly fixed on the side of the road that you want to walk on, and it's a constant game of chicken. One collision per day, I think, was the average. It was a new experience, and you've got to do something about that before I come back. So, George Bernard Shaw, obviously, like one thing I learned is mains are either the electric power that you plug your car into or what you're having for dinner. The mains, electric line, and what you have after starters. And I want to talk to you a little bit about your electric power situation here. Now, each of these power outlets does seem like it could power a building, and this one apparently does. But listen, guys, what about the bathroom? There are no power outlets in your bathroom. You have no electric shavers, like hair dryers. It's like, what is up with this? I researched it and actually found out that your government has prohibited outlets within a certain distance of your bathtub. But I say, as a God-fearing American, that God has given me the right to brush my teeth with my electric toothbrush while shaving with my electric shaver and listening to my Trump campaign rallies on my wireless speaker. And if I want to, drop a cord out the window so that I can illuminate my target and practice my shooting at night. So that will not let government overreach. Help here. Anyway, too much. Let's get on. Now I've got you rolling on the floor. I want to tell you a bit about Techstars. We are the most active pre-seed investor, meaning we do more pre-seed deals than any other entity in the world. We run over 400 classes. I mean, we've got a bunch of them graduating today, so I know the number's going to be over 400 for this. We have 9,000 founders or more that have graduated from the programs, and the cumulative market cap, or the aggregate market cap of the companies that have come through the program is about 105 billion at last count. We run 53 accelerators in 36 cities and 13 countries. London is highlighted on every slide, no matter where you are. London is always highlighted. But Techstars invests more than capital. We run the programs, of which you'll see the results of this year's program in the fall. The 13-year accelerator, 13-year, it seemed like 13 years. No, it actually seemed like 13 days, but the 13-week accelerator program. And so we invest in companies by investing that time and effort to bring them through this 13-week program. But by far the most valuable thing I think we do for companies is to provide access to our network to them, which is the largest access of the largest collection of mentors and early stage investors and alumni from those 9,000 Techstars founders and their cohort mates. So we also call Techstars a mentor-driven accelerator. So right now, I just want to say thanks to our mentors. We had 84 mentors that participated in the program this year. Thank you. 60 of them registered tonight. So if you're in the room, I thank you. Out of those 84, 22 became lead mentors, meaning that they attached themselves to a company and helped them more during the rest of the program, putting in time every week to support them. We appreciate that too. And then, of course, there's this 2-week grueling mentor magic period where every company meets with every mentor, and that results in 924 meetings. So that's a lot. If you imagine pitching your company 900, you're pitching it 84 times, but that's a lot of meetings. So I want to extend a real heartfelt thanks to the mentors and others who donated so generously of their time for this program. So thank you. Okay. So now, this is the funnest part. I want to extend a thanks to the program staff. So the program staff is only one full-time employee, Matilda Bosch, and you probably know Matilda if you're part of this group. And unfortunately, Techstars is losing Matilda on Tuesday. But she has been just instrumental in making this program come together. Without me, there could have been a program. Without Matilda, there couldn't have been a program. Um, I have nightmares about what it would have looked like had I arrived on that September 9th morning and Matilda wasn't here to support me in bringing these companies over the finish line. And she has done so much for the program, this program and other programs earlier. She makes them run like a Swiss watch and makes the network, helps them network in the investment community. She's just done so much to help me during this program. And Matilda, are you in the room? I want you to come down here. It is something you said every grown-up woman should have. So you no longer look like a tourist. You're welcome. She's carried a lot on her back over the past 2 years, and I really appreciate it. Now, the other member of the team is this guy, Samir. Now, he's an associate, meaning he's here for 3 months. The pay is not great. There's no hope for advancement. But he has contributed on every level. If I miss lunch, there's lunch on my plate. If I need coffee, there's coffee. But then he's making introductions for our companies through his healthcare network that his family has. He's participating in the creation or the feedback of the slides of the companies that you'll see tonight. And his fingers are the final fingers on the slides that you'll see. It's an extraordinary amount of effort that he has contributed, that he's made for the program, and he's significantly improved the program and the content of what you'll see tonight. He has wisdom beyond his years, and I appreciate it so much. So, Samir, I got something for you too. There you go, brother. Okay. Oh, look at that. I missed this slide. These are all mentors. Yay, mentors. Thanks to our team. Yay, here's our team. So that's Matilda and Samir. I skipped a couple slides there. Oh, my grade doesn't. Oh, by the way, Charlotte, those are on my dime. They don't come out of part of the program budget. That's from me, not from Techstars. Okay, so we had entrepreneurs in residence. These are folks that come in and sort of live with the program during the 13 weeks. They're available for office hours, and they also hold workshops in topics that are relevant to early stage startups that are growing. So they give presentations and we meet with the company on demand. And I'd like to thank and send a thank you to Joseph, Chris, and Simon, who really have done a great job. We also thank our program's alumni and others who have come in and told their origin stories. You know, we turn off the microphones, we don't record things, and we get to hear the real story about how these companies grew up and how they made it in a very tough startup environment, which is a crazy life to choose. And those who succeed have some wisdom to pass on to future generations. And folks come in and tell us their stories uncut and uncensored, and that's hugely valuable. So we had 8 of those founder stories. Other folks came in and did workshops aside from those on the program team, like myself and Matilda. 92 investor meetings were arranged. You're fired. 180 one-on-one meetings were held, and so a big thank you for everyone else that participated in this program. I was so gratified to see how the community turned out for it. So Techstars has a value which is give first, and I think London came through on that in a big way. All right. Now for the reason you're here. the companies. You know, a lot of these are 11 founders. They're a little nervous. They're like, how bad can it be? What can it be? How bad can it go? 3 minutes of terror followed by, a career that's over. It's really not that hard. Come on, guys, have fun with it. So first to start us off is an incredible CEO doing incredible things to help consumers with the incredible debt that they have amassed. And oh, darn it, I missed something. No. I've completely blown it. These are not the companies. These are big, important companies. These are not our little companies. These are not our little companies. These are big, important companies. These are the global network partners that have supported our companies with free services and discounts through the whole program. And these are perks that all Techstars companies get, and they're super valuable and a big, important part of the value you get from Techstars if you come through the program. So I am totally out of step here now, which we'll fix in a minute. But I want to say thank you to our global network partners, some of whom are here tonight. Sorry for jumping the gun. Now I have to make sure, I'm getting old and decrepit here, so I have to make sure things work. Okay, on to why you were here. Here's the 11 companies that you'll be seeing tonight. 11 CEOs, a little nervous. So am I. So we're now on to an incredible CEO doing incredible things to help consumers with incredible amounts of credit debt they've assumed, and aptly enough, the name of the company is incredible. So, Yaz, take it away.
Hello, London. Thankfully, this is not on Zoom, so I'm wearing my best trousers for you all today. You're welcome. Something that is often discussed is the lack of financial literacy and the impact that it has. What's startling is that for the first time ever, consumer debt in the UK has exceeded £2 trillion for the first time in history. Yet less than half of the UK population can answer basic financial literacy questions. Things like, what is my interest rate? How much is this loan going to cost me to pay back? What is the impact of missing this payment? And what does it mean for my credit score? And it's obvious to see why they struggle to answer these basic questions. The intentionally opaque nature of money makes it difficult for the time-poor, resource-poor consumer to manage. And what does managing today look like? It's spreadsheets without the formulas. It's notes on your phone without the insights. It's calendar reminders without the prompt. It's even the post-it note on the fridge that says, remember to pay your credit card bill. So it's clear to see why they struggle to answer these basic questions. The cost of the status quo is £64 billion a year in interest fees alone. That's £177 million a day, over £100,000 whilst I've been speaking to you all. In the last 10 years of fintech innovation, we have made it possible at the click of a button to invest in alternative assets, to save in multiple different accounts, even to own stock in Apple in less time than it takes to buy a phone. Yet we can't manage what we borrow effectively. We're here to change that. Incredible is building a repayment solution that allows you to track, pay, and reduce the cost of borrowing from a single place. Consumers can roll up all of their monthly payments into one single payment and we'll intelligently allocate it in the most capital efficient way possible. We even work with lenders to find you the best opportunity to refinance whilst providing them with the infrastructure to approve more loans whilst keeping risk low. We're here to make credit work for you, not against you, enabling a win for both borrower and lender. Since launching in May, the response has been overwhelming, which has been directly a result of not just building something people want, but something people need. To date, we're helping people manage over 2 million in credit card debt And having built and shipped multiple different payment features, we built the first roundup solution for debt payoff. Collectively, we're a team of people with 40 years of experience in unbundling financial services, having built and shipped products that move hundreds of millions of pounds for tens of millions of people. And now we've come together to make finance work for the everyday people. Whilst credit cards is just the start, this is only really the beginning. This isn't personal financial management. This isn't neobanking. What this is finance for the rest of us. What this is self-driving money. What this is incredible. Thank you for your time.
Okay, while I've walked up here, my ring and my phone have generated about 470 data points recording every movement I make. And they know everything I do, every movement during my day and night, and that's a little bit scary. But here to tell us how valuable that data is and how important it can be to creating new businesses is Alex from InStep.
So, did you know that your headphones have laboratory-grade movement sensors in them? So does your phone, your watch, and most of your wearable devices. Between just two wearable devices, say your phone and your headphones, you generate over 2.7 million data points per day. That's massive. But what does it mean? It means that we can create unique movement profiles for every individual, movement fingerprints. We're InStep, and we're sequencing the human movement fingerprint. We're contextualizing and translating those millions of data points into actionable information for businesses with our core movement fingerprint software. This is my co-founder, Brandon. He's wearing his headphones, and you can see that even walking, we can pick up on his movement. This is important because Brandon also suffers from chronic back pain, as I'm sure many of you in this room do. And we can pick up on the slight changes to his movement that occur when he's going through a pain cycle. This is important for both Brandon and his healthcare provider. And beyond healthcare, there's huge potential across different verticals, from enhancing the product development for active brands like Fila to quantifying a soldier's recovery from a traumatic brain injury. And not just potential, there's interest. Within the 6 months that our team has been together, we've had requests for proposals from 2 large active apparel companies, and we're in the process of writing a military grant with university partners. So why has no one tapped into this data if it's so good and cool and big and massive and whatever else I said? It's because it's not a simple, large data set that you can just toss over to a dev team. It's big, it's messy, and it's complicated. It turns out that humans are really hard to quantify. And the arenas that you're siloed in that can handle this data are in signal processing and in biomechanics, but they don't talk to each other. Signal processing is usually stuck in industries that don't really do humans, and then biomechanics is stuck in laboratories or in niche sport-specific applications. So this data goes underutilized. You need the tools to contextualize and translate this data to make it actionable for businesses. And that's where we come in. We're unlocking the potential of human movement intelligence. Our team is a unique blend of deep tech and industry experience, with expertise in human biomechanics, software engineering, business strategy, and astrophysics. We're the team to bring human movement intelligence to market. We do this through our core software. So we pull in the data that's already collected by your wearable devices. So movement data, as I mentioned before, but also location and environmental data, because where you are matters. The way you move around London is way different than the way you move around, say, San Francisco. We combine these data streams in our proprietary machine learning processes and to create and build the ultimate backend for human movement data. We call this our core movement fingerprint software. And we're actively selling this software. We've built a B2B SaaS suite with a mobile application and web dashboard for enterprise companies that want to leverage human movement intelligence. We're also licensing our APIs built off of our core movement fingerprint software to dev teams for companies that really want to implement human movement data into their own platforms and power the next generation of consumer applications. 2.7 million data points, the future of human movement intelligence, but only if you know how to use it. Step into the future with InStep.
Oh, boy. So we practice these pitches a lot, as you can imagine. And the next presenter, when she practiced it, she said, "My name is Maria with 2 eyes." And I thought, well, everybody has 2 eyes. What's the big deal? And then it's actually, her name is spelled with 2 eyes. So that's Maria with 2 eyes. She's here. She's here to talk to us about a big problem that cuts short many lives and affects many others deeply, which far too many of us are familiar with, either directly or indirectly. So here's Maria with 2 eyes to tell us more.
If you are a big music lover, you may also remember that day vividly. A day of a sudden shock and profound grief. A day where I and a lot of people around the globe lost their dream forever. We'd never get to experience a live performance of Amy. Evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maria. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Curada. We are building a digital platform to make breakthrough addiction therapy easily accessible to everyone. Think of it. Every year we lose incredible talents like Amy Winehouse, friends, and loved ones to substance disorders that treated inadequately. 3.5 million lives cut short each year. A number of addiction cases is set to skyrocket to whopping 800 million in the next 5 years, yet less than 1% currently utilize neuroscience-based, highly effective therapy patented back in 1988 as the Sinclair method. Despite the patent expiration 15 years ago, outdated rehab and 12-step models still dominates $500 billion alcohol treatment industry. They trap individuals in expensive, traumatic relapse cycle, blame them for poor outcomes of counter-effective therapies, and stigmatizing them as powerless addicts. But let me tell you about the Sinclair method. It is a therapy that helps nervous system to unlearn that alcohol leads to endorphin reward. It's done by simply blocking receptors with safe prescribed medication 1 hour prior drinking, gradually reducing cravings. That is a root cause of excessive drinking in a matter of months, sometimes weeks. Curada secure platform collects data points over encrypted digital visits, connects confidentially individuals to prescribing providers, and discreetly delivers medication from pharmacy partners, providing tailored access from community of peers who already reached positive outcomes on the therapy. With pilot customers and first batch of prescribing providers, we are set to help hundreds of thousands people in the UK to unlearn alcohol back to safe levels and unlock this groundbreaking therapy that boasting up to 93% long-term success rate to millions currently denied dignified and evidence-based treatments. We are a team of tech veterans, ex-colleagues, and long-term friends. With over 30 years of combined experience in building and marketing world-class tech, we are guided by leading clinical minds and industry experts, and we are committed to keeping dreams alive and help millions to claim back their lives. Thank you.
What a great job. Okay, so our next company means that I will never look at mushrooms in exactly the same way again. They've invented a new way for renters to work together to take control of the homes that they live in. I'd like to introduce to you Ben from Roost.
Hello, I'm Ben, we're Roost, and we're solving the housing crisis. All the way over there, you can see a mushroom that grew through the floor of my rented home. And because it was my home, but my landlord's property, it meant that I couldn't take care of it the way that I wanted to, and my landlord didn't. Over here is when myself and my friends lived in a housing cooperative. We had the security to stay there as long as we want. We had control over the home and responsibility for it. And it meant that we could take care of the home in the way that we expected. Tenants need this, and in fact, in Europe, they already have it. It turns out that investors want this as well, because people like us, groups of friends who live in major cities in shared homes, are the most lucrative part of the housing market. It's even better when those friends love their home, pay their rent on time, and keep it up to a good standard. But the reason why investors can't access this group of tenants is an archaic network of middlemen in between. Sourcing agents who find the homes, lettings agents who find tenants, and management agents who deal with the problems that tenants bring them, between them take a 30% cut. They don't serve tenants or investors particularly well, and we're looking to help tenants replace agents. First, we need to create a legal adapter between the old-style cooperatives and the modern capital markets. We've now had this accredited by the largest trade group of cooperatives. Then, over the course of the Techstars program, we have built a fintech marketplace on top of that legal innovation. This allows investors to define the portfolio of homes they want and then display those homes to tenants. Tenants source their own homes, and then, once they move in, they manage it themselves as well. And so we know that renters want this because 3,000 people have signed up. When we hold events, our community comes. When we post, we go viral. And we know that funds want it as well, because we've had conversations with large real estate investors who tell us about the problems they face with agents and with distributed portfolios. But they told us that if they were going to give us decent rates, we would have to get a larger track record first. So last month, we looked to get some landlords on board, and now we've signed a lease for 48 units in Sheffield. Next month, come and visit us. We'll be living there and making sure that it goes perfectly, as this will be the test bed of our operational model. Our commercial model is very simple. We charge a fee worth 10% of the rent. Right now, we're working with our beachhead market, wealthy UK flat sharers living in major cities. After that, we're expanding to other housing markets that face similar crises. Places in the Anglosphere and places where cooperatives have the same legal benefits. And so this is our team. Here is us at a community event we held where 50 people gave up their Tuesday evening to come and chat to us. I have spent the last few years designing out exploitation for governments and startups. Andrew has delivered, researched, and invested in solutions to the housing crisis. And Tess has built co-ops before. We are renters who are fed up with the housing crisis, and so we're going to solve it. Thank you.
So there's a shortage of doctors, as we all know, so you would think it would be easy for doctors to find new career opportunities, and for recruiters and enterprises that are hiring healthcare professionals to find and reach the markets or reach the people that they want to hire. But it isn't. It's harder for them than it is for the rest of us, and here to talk about that and how a solution is possible is Kieran.
Hello everyone, my name is Kieran. I'm CEO and co-founder of Medtribe. And at Medtribe, we are redefining the future of healthcare recruitment. After 7 years working as an emergency doctor, I found myself at the point in my career where I wanted to move out of London. And what should have been an exciting new step turned into a frustrating ordeal with challenges at every stage. it made me realise that healthcare recruitment is fundamentally broken. My now co-founder, surprised by my struggles, suggested LinkedIn. But here's the catch. I didn't have a LinkedIn and none of my colleagues did either. And it turns out this isn't uncommon. Over 90% of healthcare professionals around the world don't use LinkedIn. And this is symptomatic of a larger issue. Healthcare recruitment is stuck in the past, reliant on outdated methods such as jobs boards and basic websites in order to find talent. And the cost? Astronomical. NHS England spent more than 12 billion in 1 year alone on agency solutions. We desperately need a solution, and one that takes into account the unique careers of these professionals. So we thought, what can bring together a group of professionals that don't find value in LinkedIn? And then we realized, education. Medicine is not a static field. It's a landscape of constant innovation and change. And as a result, learning is not a pastime, it's a prerequisite. Their careers are interwoven with exams, courses, conferences, so they can keep skills up to date and maintain their licenses. At Medtribe, we focus on this need for professional continuous education in order to bring clinicians to our platform. We've developed free, tailored tools for healthcare educators so they can bring clinicians to their courses with ease and they can share things globally. As a result, we are able to map accurately and regularly their interests, skills, and credentials for clinicians around the world. We have more than 25 organizations using Medtribe, and we've got over 7,000 verified professional profiles with more than 1,500 monthly active users, all with no marketing spend. So, what does this mean? It means the old ways of healthcare recruitment are over. With Medtribe, hospitals will have access to tens of thousands of professional profiles so they can find the right person with the right skills at the right time. And for professionals like me, we'll have a world of new opportunities at our fingertips. Our team's experience and diverse skills come from working together in an event-backed startup, a VC-backed event startup, as well as an intimate knowledge of hiring and being hired within healthcare. At Medtribe, we are doing more than matching an employee to a job. We are building a community so that education, career advancement, and recruitment converge to redefine healthcare staffing. Thank you.
So when the program started, I had no idea that fertility tourism was a thing, i.e. people leaving the country to go get fertility treatments out of country to reduce costs. But it is, it's a huge market, but it's a process that's fraught with logistical and coordination difficulties. So here is Avantika to tell us how her company is going to change that.
Many people dream of having a family of their own. But imagine trying for years and not knowing what's wrong. I'm Avantika, and I'm the founder of Antares Health. We're simplifying access to affordable fertility care. When a couple sets out to have a child, it's usually a moment of hope and often a simple path. But the reality is different for 1 in 6 people that experience infertility. And that number is only growing. For the average couple going through fertility treatment, it can take 3 years and 4, if not 5 tries to be successful. It's a moment filled with uncertainty and a lot of burden. Emotional, physical, as well as financial. It can cost up to £60,000 in UK alone to get fertility treatment. And the reality is that 90% of those that need this treatment cannot afford it. They remain waiting on NHS wait lists, burn through savings, or fall into heavy debt. But fortunately, cheaper options are available. Antares helps patients get access to affordable, high-quality care that is less than half the price in mainland Europe. For what would otherwise be a very daunting journey to undertake alone, navigating an international healthcare system, knowing where to go, finding the right clinic, taking care of all of the logistics along the way, but also your own mental well-being, it can be a lot. With Antares, we streamline it. We match our patients to top clinics in our partner network in mainland Europe. We provide a unique model of hybrid care between the local as well as international provider. And we do this virtually to bring maximum convenience and minimum cost to our patients. And we take care of all of those little bottlenecks through our digital concierge. We make this happen on one simple platform. Today, the fertility market is worth 20 billion. This number is growing to 70 billion by 2031. But for a moment, if we think about those people that need treatment but don't get it, the growing middle class as well as the growing demand, the number starts to look a lot larger. I'm an ex-founder with over a decade in startup and scale-up experience, in health tech, B2C, as well as data and AI. And I'm delighted to be supported by a team of experts, not just in the healthcare domain, but also in the fertility, tech, and travel domain to join me in bringing Antares to the market early next year. So far, we've made a lot of progress. We've built our product. We've taken care of all of the little logistics that people forget. We've taken care of all the legal issues. We've contracted clinics across Spain, UK, Greece, as well as Czech Republic. We've also built partnerships with diagnostic providers in UK and with pharmaceutical providers in UK, so we can bring all of our patients' needs to their doorstep. We're ready to bring Antares to our patients early next year. So we're here not just to bring affordable fertility care to the market. We're here to support our patients on a complex journey to parenthood. Thank you.
Okay, so how does that meal that you ordered online make its way to your door? The logistics behind that are way more complicated than I realized. It requires some real engineering talent to optimize it. Here's Rango to tell us how he and his company are doing just that.
Hey everyone, I'm Rango. I'm the founder of HeySimulate. So this is Black Friday 5 years ago. Thankfully, we don't have to do this anymore. We can get all of our shopping delivered to the comfort of our own homes. And we're not alone. This year, we have 185 billion parcels being delivered worldwide. And that's a five-fold increase from 10 years ago, and that's a trend that's just going to continue onwards. But what that amazing growth is really hiding is the delivery companies that are struggling behind all of that. I've sat with operations managers at FedEx and startups alike and watched them struggle, whether it's the day-to-day decisions of how many drivers do I need to schedule, or the more strategic things, like how do we transition our fleet to meet our net zero targets. It's a really, really complicated problem. And what happens is these operations managers just use rules of thumb and heuristics. But getting this wrong has really serious consequences. If these companies overstaff or have too many vehicles, then they just bleed money and go out of business. And we all know last mile delivery companies where that's happened. And if they understaff, then you tend to have really poor customer service, or you have overworked staff, and then you have a driver retention problem, and then that's just a slow form of the same kind of death happening anyway. I've solved these kind of complicated problems before. In my PhD, I worked with Rolls-Royce to simulate different components in jet engines and really find the sweet spot between the cost and the longevity of different components. What I want to do is bring that way of thinking, that technology, into last mile delivery. And we at HeySimulate, we're combining historical data trends as well as looking at the disruptions and challenges that are being faced, bring that all together and run thousands, if not millions of simulations. And we wrap that all together into a really easy to use web application so the operations managers can make the best decisions. what we're really trying to do, the end value that we're trying to bring, is finding the right balance for these companies between cost and service. Whether that's the day-to-day of getting the right number of drivers, or whether that's making sure that your electric van transformation is happening well. And the end result for all of us is we get our packages on time, which is great. So I have experience at FedEx and Hive, and we have advisors with decades of experience in the last mile delivery space. So right now we have 2 pilots that are ongoing. We're hoping to convert them very soon into customers. And next year our focus is going to be really on the small and medium-sized carriers before we really target the big players, the incumbents in the market. So thank you very much, and we hope you'll join us in transforming last mile logistics.
Okay, next up, we have our other doctor turned entrepreneur. And doctors don't choose their profession to fill out paperwork, they choose it to help people. But unfortunately, they spend a lot of time actually just doing that, paperwork. But fortunately, we have Harris to tell us how his company is going to solve that.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Harris Javed Akhtar. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sina Health, and we're using AI to reduce admin in healthcare. So could everyone in this room raise their hand if they've ever had a problem trying to book an appointment with their GP? Yeah, me too. GPs are impossible to see these days, but why is that? Well, a major contributing factor is that doctors are being overloaded with time-consuming and repetitive admin tasks to carry out their clinical work. So what's an example of one of these tasks? This is a letter sent to the GP from the hospital. The GP needs to read it, and then they need to action any of the tasks being asked of them by the hospital. In this case, they're being asked to action 4 specific tasks. And that can take up to 30 minutes of a GP's time. And GPs need to get through around 30 of these kind of letters every single day, and that's on top of seeing their patients for that day. And as a result, GP burnout is at an all-time high. And GP practices are losing hundreds of thousands of pounds every single year, employing extra admin staff to help relieve the burden from doctors and training those extra staff. But it gets worse, because not only do GPs have such a huge workload, but they're also stuck using legacy software that hasn't been updated since the early 2000s. And this isn't just a UK problem. This is a global healthcare problem, costing $1.1 trillion every single year. And as a result of all of that, doctors are only spending 27% of their time with their patients. But what if we could change that? What if we could flip the script and empower doctors to spend more time with their patients, improving patient outcomes, and giving huge cost savings to healthcare providers? We're a team of 2 doctors and 3 software engineers, and we have felt the pain of this problem firsthand during our own clinical practice. So we're building an AI co-pilot that can automate time-consuming and repetitive admin tasks using medically trained large language models, allowing laborious tasks to be actioned in a single click. And we're starting with letters for GPs. So when one of these letters is passed through Sina, our AI co-pilot will automatically identify all of the tasks being asked of by the GP. If we look more closely at the ophthalmology referral as an example, our co-pilot will use the patient's medical data alongside the context of the letter to autofill every single field required to send off that referral. All the GP needs to do then is check every field, make any necessary changes, and they can send off that referral in a single click. And once the GP has done that for all of those tasks, they can then file that letter away, taking what would normally take 30 minutes to action, now actionable in a matter of minutes, freeing up hours of time that can now be used to see patients, improving patient outcomes, and saving GP practices hundreds of thousands of pounds in staffing and training costs. Okay. So that's what we're doing. Thank you all very much. And we hope you join us on our mission to empower doctors to spend more time with their patients, not their paperwork.
Okay. Mental health demand for mental health services has gone way up during the pandemic and after it, and there just are not enough mental health professionals to service that need. But AI provides some enormous capabilities in this area as well. And we're going to hear from Sam about how his company is using AI to make a therapist's work more efficient and scalable. Sam?
Hi, I'm Samuel Stern, co-founder of Affiniti AI. We help therapists deliver better outcomes to more patients using artificial intelligence. In the UK, over 1.7 million people will receive talking therapy this year to help them with a mental health condition. Now, they should be seeing their therapist about once a week, but that doesn't always happen. In fact, the average time that people have to wait between, say, their first and their second treatment session is 7 weeks. So think about that. It doesn't really come as a surprise then that up to 47% of people, these are people who raised their hand, they've reached out for help, they ultimately fail to complete the course of treatment. But what if you could have your therapist in your pocket between those sessions, there to help you practice and reinforce what you've been learning with your therapist, helping you stay engaged, which is really important because we know that engagement leads to better, faster outcomes. That's why we created Affiniti AI, your virtual co-therapist. It bridges that gap between treatment sessions. It provides that seamless blend of support and care continuity that's currently missing from the system. And it does so in a way that's closely controlled and monitored by your dedicated mental health professional. What powers Affiniti is our domain-specific conversational AI that we trained on a proprietary data set of over 24,000 dialogues. It covers 50 different evidence-based talking therapy techniques mapped to more than 2,000 possible scenarios. Affiniti is not just there to benefit patients, though. It also adds value to the 46,000 therapists in this country. They use Affiniti to help amplify their care and streamline their workflows. It gives them key insights into things like the challenges that their patients have been facing or the progress that they've made between sessions. And with this information, knowing it up front, that allows them to save time. In fact, it can save them up to 10 minutes per patient per session. Now that comes to about 340,000 additional patients we could be seeing. We can get them off the wait list. The key to getting this right, though, is to really understand the nuances of translating talking therapy into a conversational AI system. And my co-founder wrote her PhD on the subject. You also need to be able to distribute it, though. And within our network, we have access to some of the key decision makers within some of the country's largest mental health providers, both public and private sector. Already, we have 4 clinics wanting to participate in our upcoming trial next year, and we've recently also received an Innovate UK grant to build and accelerate trustworthy AI. So we are on a mission to continue to empower therapists with tools that will amplify their care and streamline their workflows, so that no one who needs support has to go for extended periods without it. Thank you.
So here's an itch I will probably never scratch, but if I did get married again, I would rent my wedding dress from oh, wait a minute, didn't come out quite right. But there's an enormous opportunity in that market, much bigger than I had any notion of. And here is Ella from PS Bridal to tell us more about her company and how she's meeting the demand that exists for that product.
How many people currently have a wedding dress sitting in the loft? And that's not surprising, because approximately
35 million wedding dresses are created every year for single use, ultimately ending up in the loft or in landfill. The problem is, this is how you got a wedding dress in 1923. This is how you get a wedding dress in 2023. The wedding dress industry hasn't changed in over 100 years, but consumers have. The circular economy is the new normal, and companies like eBay, Vinted, Depop, Airbnb have spent hundreds of millions of pounds to change consumer mindsets and cater to this new generation of customers. And the bridal industry hasn't even started, but yet their customers are our customers. And our customers are expecting to be able to rent their wedding dress. People are searching for wedding dress rentals 49,500 times per month, and it doesn't exist. Until now. At PS Bridal, we are building the circular economy for the $44 billion global wedding dress industry. Our platform enables brides to save money, existing brides and businesses to make money, and by reusing instead of making new, we're also helping the planet. We're taking a vertical industry and making it circular. And to put it simply, we're building the Airbnb of wedding dresses. Already, brides can go on our platform and search through hundreds of dresses. In 3 simple steps, they can book their at-home trial, reserve their wedding dates, and enjoy the day. We launched our MVP back in April this year with a few dresses and a few partners. By June, we'd already onboarded 40 B2B partners. In September, we launched Bride Owned, meaning Bride A can rent her dress to Bride B, and doubled our stock within the first week of launch. And to date, we've already delivered over 170 rentals, generating £31,000 of revenue through our platform. But that's just the beginning. We're receiving double the number of inquiries internationally, predominantly from the $5 billion US market. Today, the global wedding dress industry is worth $44 billion, rising to $73 billion by 2030. And already, influencers and VIPs are posting about the PS product completely for free. Ellie Goulding posted to 13.9 million Instagram followers, telling them to rent and rent out their wedding dresses with PS. And we've already been featured in major publications, both over here in the UK and the US. But the key to making this business work is you have to understand the bridal mindset. Zoe and I have spent the past 3 years building the PS brand, conducting over 24,000 WhatsApp conversations with brides-to-be, and understanding everything there is to know about brides. We're backed up by an incredibly strong technical team with experience building and exiting consumer marketplaces. What started as a personal problem has turned into a $44 billion global opportunity. So come and join us and take those wedding dresses out the loft.
Okay, well, I gotta use my notes for this one. So I'm gonna tell you about where I live, connected to the internet. I have 4 heat pumps, 4 thermostats, 2 vacuum cleaners, 1 camera, 1 door lock, 5 lights, and I guess another door lock, it says here. That's a pretty big attack surface, but it's fortunately not a national security problem if my home goes cold and dark. But that's not the case with everything else that's connected to the internet. And Toby is taking his NATO experience defending nations on this front to the market. Toby, tell us about Qomodo.
Good evening, everyone. This is an industrial Internet of Things device. And devices like this connect everyday technologies to the internet. Devices like this actually monitor and control many aspects of our lives, whether it be the cars that you drive, maybe the oil or the gas being pushed around the country, even the levels of chemicals that are in the water that comes out of your taps. Now, the problem is these devices are inherently vulnerable and they're being attacked every single day. So, let's say you're driving a car, scary image, and a hacker gets into this car, drives it into oncoming traffic. You're going to notice a theme. Or those oil pipelines that I mentioned, a hacker gets into those, changes the pressure in those pipelines, causing them to explode. These are not scenes from a movie. These are happening every day, these incidents are. I'm Toby, CEO and co-founder of Qomodo, and while we've been defending NATO nations for over a decade, we've seen an increase, a huge increase in these devices being connected to the internet. So what? These devices introduce a blind spot for security teams. You can't see what's happening in them. They also expand, as Lars said, the attack surface of all of the technologies that we see across the world. So by 2030, there's going to be over 30 billion of these devices connected to the internet. That's 3 times the world's population. And they're already being attacked over 3 billion times every single year, which is costing companies across the globe over $2 trillion. So the IoT security market itself is set to tip over a $70 billion opportunity, which is something we're ready to tap into. So we created Qomodo, a solution to protect the industrial and enterprise Internet of Things technologies. By installing our micro software agent on these devices, they're now protected against even the most sophisticated threats. And we use AI, why not? But seriously, we use AI and machine learning to profile the behavior that's happening on devices like this, to spot anomalies and potential activity and malicious activity. Nation states don't want the alarms to go off, so we have to look at the behavior. And we empower security teams by not only being able to detect, but also prevent these attacks from happening in the first place. 10 times faster than what's there today. So in the last 6 months, we got our MVP ready. We've already got a bunch of MOUs signed, and we're actually installed on quite a few of electric trucks. You may have seen some around London. As our first pilot customer, we should be on another 200 in the next few months, and we're on our way to make our first 100K ARR. So for the next 6 months, we're focusing on progressing those conversations that we're having in automotive, manufacturing, and government. So this is going to be a bit stark, by the way. What I want you to remember as we close out on tonight's event is devices like this and the risk that they pose to our everyday lives. Now, we're not on every vehicle yet, so drive home safe.
Okay, that's the Techstars London Accelerator Program. I'd like to invite all the founders down here and give them a big thank you. Their hard work, resiliency, and camaraderie has been extraordinary, and now they're leaving me. Go, 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 go. Thank you. Perfect, guys. Good job. Okay. Lots of people. Everybody, all the founders are coming. And one picture. Only one picture stands between you and alcohol right now. Okay, thanks for turning out tonight. We really appreciate it.